Surprise plea deal in the so-called newlywed murder trial. Jordan Graham pleading guilty to second-degree murder, admitting to pushing her husband of 8 days off a cliff. ABC's Ryan Owens has been following the case from the very beginning there in Missoula, Montana. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning to you, Robin. Jordan Graham is now officially an admitted murderer, and she is locked up here this morning. You're right, she surprised everybody. A woman who had said nothing the entire trial suddenly stood up just before closing arguments to say one word: guilty.
Jordan, how are you feeling?
She didn't testify during her murder trial, but the judge wasn't about to let Jordan Graham off the hook. He made her stand before him and answer questions about the July night she pushed her new husband, Cody Johnson, off a cliff. She told the judge, "It was definitely a reckless act, and I just pushed." What was said that made you so angry? It wasn't anything that was said. He grabbed me. I pushed his hand off, and I pushed him away. Did you push with both hands? Yes. The 22-year-old pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, bringing a sudden end to a trial that lasted half as long as her 8-day marriage. Graham's attorneys say prosecutors offered the deal, and she took it because it takes first-degree murder off the table.
Are you satisfied that it ended this way after all this?
You know, my satisfaction's really not an issue here. All I can say is that the ultimate plea that was entered was Ms. Graham's choice.
Her mother sobbed hearing her daughter admit to being a murderer. Cody Johnson's mom left court without saying anything, but his aunt spoke for the family. What do you want to say?
I just want to say the family is very thankful for the outcome of this case. It was very emotional. It's been a long haul for us, and we really don't have anything else to say except for we are very thankful for our prosecuting team and that we have the outcome we have.
Did it matter to you to actually hear the word guilty come out of her mouth?
Yes. Surprisingly enough, I think it stirred up an emotion inside that I didn't anticipate, to hear her that she admits to killing Cody.
Our thanks again to Ryan Owens, and we're going to bring in our Chief Legal Affairs anchor, Dan Abrams. This was quite a surprise by many, but the judge still wanted to hear from her before accepting that plea.
Well, that's right. He wanted to make sure that she understood what she was doing. He wanted to make sure that she was accepting responsibility for what she had done. And he wanted to make it clear how serious a crime this is. He repeatedly said, "You realize that you're talking about the possibility of up to life in prison here?" She said yes. Now, as a practical matter, this is not going to be a life in prison case now. Could have been if she'd been convicted of first-degree murder. Probably would have been if she'd been convicted of first-degree murder. But now you're talking about starting around 20 years as a possible sentence. I think it will go slightly below that because she's now pled guilty, because she's accepted responsibility. And boy, I would have liked to have heard those conversations between the prosecution and defense as to whether the prosecutors were saying, "Hey, you accept this plea deal, we won't ask for as stiff a sentence." But we'll see exactly what happens.
You think that conversation probably took place? What, you think that she was offered a deal beforehand?
I think she probably would have been offered the exact same deal. Meaning, I think that when this case started, they probably offered her a deal for second-degree murder. At the time, she said no. So you have to ask yourself, well, then why is she accepting it now? Is it because they said that they'll try and give her a lenient sentence? Is it because they thought the case was going badly? Unclear.
We'll find out. The sentencing in March.
That's right.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Dan. Have a good weekend.